Hello everyone, welcome back to Digital Learning DCE. Myself Dr. Manjula S, working as Assistant Professor of Botany. In this session, let us study about Introduction to Plant Pathology and General Account of Symptoms of Plant Diseases. Let me begin with Introduction. Plant pathology is a branch of botany which generally deals with study of nature, development and control of plant diseases, which is also called as phytopathology. The plant pathology has four main objectives like etiology, pathogenesis, epidemiology and control. Let us study one by one in detail. Etiology generally concerns with the causal organism along with environmental conditions that cause diseases in plants. So etiology refers to the cause responsible for disease is otherwise known as etiology. Coming to the second objective, that is pathogenesis. Pathogenesis is a mechanism of disease development in plant pathology which generally involves complex host pathogen interactions like infection by the pathogen, invading of the pathogen and establishment of the pathogen inside the host. As a result of establishment, it is going to cause symptom in the plant, host plant. So that is otherwise known as pathogenesis. Coming to third objective of plant pathology, that is epidemiology, which is commonly called as spreading. Spreading is mainly concerned with the epiphytotics, which generally involves the interaction of crop plant, pathogen and environment. Generally, if all the three factors are interacting together, then only the disease is going to occur in a system. And moreover, the seasonal carryover and subsequent dispersal of the pathogens is also responsible for spreading of the disease. Coming to fourth important objective of plant pathology, that is control. The control mainly deals with or concerned with the development of suitable methods to control the diseases. Either it may be cultural practices like phytosanitation or crop rotation, or using chemicals we can control the disease, or using preventive measures we can control in some cases the disease. All this comes under the control, which is the fourth main objective of plant pathology. With this introduction, let us move on to some terminologies used in plant pathology. In plant pathology, common terminologies are frequently used like disease, systemic disease, localized diseases, host, pathogen, symptoms, etc. Let us study one by one in detail. Disease is a condition where there is a deviation from the healthy condition. Healthy plant which is deviated from normal activity, which is going to interfere with the normal structure of a plant and also the performance of other vital functions of a plant. As a result of infection by a pathogen, it is going to produce certain symptoms. As a result of the deviation is going to be takes place, which results in lower performance of the vital functions of that particular plant. This is called as a disease. The disease is of two types. Maybe it is systemic in nature or localized in nature. Based on that, the disease is categorized into systemic disease or localized disease. Systemic disease is a type of disease where it may affect the state of whole plant. Each and every part of the plant is going to be affected as a result of infection by a pathogen. This type of disease is called as systemic disease. Coming to the second type, that is localized disease. As the name itself indicates, the localized disease is restricted to certain locations. So as a result of infection by a pathogen, this disease is going to affect only certain organs of the host plant or in some parts of the host plant. So that's why it is called as a localized disease. In case of disease caused by parasitic organism, always disease is a result of parasitic organism. As we all know, parasites are the organisms which are going to exist only in the presence of living host. So those are referred as parasitic organism. So in case of disease caused by these parasitic organism, the plant to which it is going to infect, that is referred as a host, and the pathogen or the causal agent which is going to infect the host is referred as pathogen. So this pathogen may be of two types, either biotic or abiotic. Biotic pathogen is nothing but the living organisms, whereas the abiotic involves certain environmental non-living factors. Coming to symptoms, symptoms are defined as they are external signs which are going to appear on the plant body as a result of infection by a pathogen. So these external signs indicate the occurrence of disease, and each and every symptom is a characteristics of particular given disease. In this picture we can observe a healthy plant without any symptom, healthy cucurbita plant without any symptom of disease, whereas on the other hand side we can observe certain symptoms like mottling or light and yellow green patches observed on the surface of the leaf, which is as a result of infection by a pathogen. This symptom is a result of disease. So it is a deviation from the healthy condition. So now let us move on to the pathogen etiology and mode of infection. So etiology refers to determination and study of the cause that is responsible for the disease to occur. That is referred as etiology. So the cause may be biotic in nature or abiotic agents which induce diseases in plants. So as I already told, biotic agents are nothing but the living organisms which are referred as pathogens, such as fungi, bacteria, viruses, nematodes or mycoplasmas. They are act as the biotic agents which are otherwise known as the pathogens, are the cause for bringing out the disease in plants. Coming to the second type, that is abiotic agents. They are non-living things. Generally, environmental conditions such as lack of nutrients, lack of moisture, light or excess of nutrients, excess of moisture and light results in the disease. So it is almost impossible to treat any plant diseases successfully without a thorough knowledge of cause. So the etiology is very important in plant pathology. By knowing or by determining the cause of the disease, then only we can able to treat the diseases. So etiology play an important role in phytopathology. Coming to infections. Infections are going to occur when the pathogen invades the plant system, plant tissue, and soon after it invade into the plant tissue, it is going to establish inside the plant system, and as a result of that it is going to form a parasitic relationship with the plant, and hence it is going to produce a desired symptom on a plant. So this invade of the pathogen into the host system is referred as infection. A living cause or biotic cause are including viruses, bacteria, or phytoplasma, which are otherwise known as mycoplasma. These living agents, biotic agents, are not able to actively penetrate or enter the plant host tissues. So they are going to form association with insect vectors. Vectors are nothing but the carrier molecules. In this case, insects are act as vectors. some F8s are also act as vectors. They have been established to aid inoculation and dispersal in case of virus, bacteria and phytoplasma as a biotic agent, cause of the disease. Whereas in case of fungi, since fungi are going to reproduce by forming various asexual spores, these asexual spores are spread by means of wind, water splash and also through movement of contaminated soil. If the soil is contaminated with the asexual spores of fungi, its movement by animals, workers who are working in the field, and also the machineries used for the field purpose, agriculture purpose like sickle, tractor, plowing instrument, all those involved in spread of the disease. Sometimes the seedlings which are transferred from the seed bed to the main field are also responsible for the spread of the disease. And also other plant materials like seeds. Sometimes seed itself act as a infecting carrier materials. So these are the mode of spreading of infections from one place to another place. Coming to disease triangle. Disease triangle is a special type of triangle which is of much importance in plant pathology, which is defined as the conceptual model that shows the interaction between the environment and host pathogen. When the host, environment and pathogen, they are interact together in the form of a triangle, then only they are able to bring the disease successfully. I mean, for a disease to occur, there should be always susceptible host, and the pathogen should be virulent in nature. And when the susceptible host is there, along with the virulent pathogen, along with them, there should be conductive environment. So when all these three are there, then only disease is going to occur. So in the disease triangle model, it can be used to predict epidemiological outcomes in the plant health and public health, both in local and global communities. If any one of these factors, I mean to say susceptible host, pathogen, virulent pathogen and conductive environment, if any one of these is absent, then the triangle is not going to be complete. As a result of that, no disease will occur. So for a disease to occur, always there should be interaction between these three factors. Susceptible host, if the susceptible host is there, if the pathogen is not virulent, then disease won't be takes place. So if a virulent pathogen is there, then environment is not cope up with these two, then the disease won't takes place. So for a disease to occur, always there should be interaction between all the three factors. This is said to be a disease triangle, which is of more importance in plant pathology or phytopathology. Coming to general account of symptoms of plant disease. As a result of infection by a pathogen, it is going to invade the host plant, inside the host plant, and as a result of its invasion, it is going to produce certain visible changes in the host plant. So these visible external signs or changes that are observed on the plant surface are referred as disease symptoms. These symptoms caused by pathogens are of diverse nature, and the symptoms are broadly categorized into two categories. The first one is symptoms due to nature, structure and appearance of visible pathogen. So under this we are going to study certain symptoms like mildews, rust, smuts, sclerotia and white blisters. In the second category, that is anatomical and morphological symptoms on the host as a result of pathogen infection and invasion, the symptoms are going to be formed inside the plant system. Some of them are also appear externally. They show morphological appearance. So under this category, there are again two subdivisions like necrosis and hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Necrosis is generally defined as the death of a cell, death and disintegration of a cell, tissues and organs, which is mainly due to infection by parasitic organism. So under necrosis, we are going to study certain disease symptoms like spots, streaks, canker, blight, wilts and damping off. In the second subcategory, that is hypertrophy and hyperplasia. These are abnormal growth symptoms due to enlargement of cells or due to increased cell division. So hypertrophy refers to abnormal growth which is mainly because of enlargement of cells. Infected cells become enlarged in their size. So that results in hypertrophic condition, whereas in case of hyperplasia, it is abnormal mainly due to increase in the cell number, whereas in case of hypertrophy, it is increase in cell size. In case of hyperplasia, it is increase in cell number. So under this category, we are going to study certain symptoms like galls, curls, witch's broom and floral abnormalities. Let us study all these symptoms one by one in detail. First category, that is symptoms due to nature of pathogen or due to structure of pathogen or pathogen itself appear on the surface of a plant body. Under this category, the first symptom is mildews. Mildews are important group of fungal diseases of seed-bearing plants, seed plants, where parasite is seen as a superficial growth on the host surface. In this case, the parasite, the infected pathogen, it is going to be observed on the surface of the plant itself. So, these mildews appear in the form of usually white powdery mass, grey mass, or brown or violet spots on the leaves and also on the young stems and fruit of the host. Usually the mildews is going to cause the systemic infections as a result of invading or infection by a parasitic pathogen. They are going to form systemic infection. So mildews are example for systemic infection. As a result of systemic infection, it is going to infect all the aerial part, visible part of a plant like leaves, stems, inflorescence, etc. If they are in the form of tangled cottony mass, if the mildews, if the fungal symptoms, fungal structures are in the form of cottony mass, then they are said to be downy mildews. Cottony mass on the downside of the leaves. Since the cottony growth is restricted to lower side of the leaf, it is otherwise known as downy mildews. So example for downy mildew is downy mildew of bajra caused by a fungus belongs to Oomycetes Sclerospora graminicola. So when the spores of pathogen are in the form of powdery layer or powdery mass on the surface of the host, then they are said to be powdery mildews. In case of downy mildews, it is always under the lower surface as well as cottony mass is observed, whereas in case of powdery mildews, it is always in the form of powdery mass, which are the results of asexual spores. So example for powdery mildew of cucurbits caused by Podospira xanthi. In this diagram, we can observe the powdery mass on cucurbita plant, whereas here we can see this is a bajra plant infected with Sclerospora graminicola, showing cottony mass, tangled cottony growth under the lower surface. So based on their position and their external morphological structure, mildews are of two types, downy mildews and powdery mildews. Powdery mildews are in the form of a powdery mass, powdery patches observed on the surface of a plant. Coming to second symptom under symptoms due to nature, structure and appearance of visible pathogen. So second one is rust. Rust are fungal diseases of grasses and other plants which are appear on the host surface as a small colored pustules which may be powdery in nature or they are compactly arranged which may be red, brown, yellow or black in color. Example of such symptom is rust disease in wheat that is caused by Puccinia titicina. Then the third symptom under first category, that is smuts. Smuts are fungal diseases of cereals and other members of grass family that are going to cause whole inflorescence or earheads to turn black or shooty in nature. So this earhead infected with a pathogen containing black powdery mass of spores usually are restricted to floral organs of the host. Hence it is an example for localized infection. So smut disease example is loose smut of wheat caused by Ustilago and also grain smut of sorghum caused by Specilotheca sorghum. Then coming to next symptom, that is sclerotia. Sclerotia is a compact hard mass of dormant fungal hyphae. So this hyphae, it is a modification of hyphae. Sclerotia is a type of hyphal modification where it has become dormant. It is not responding to external environmental conditions so that it acts as a vegetative propagule for the next generation. So which may be black in color, grayish in color, violet, dark brown or purplish in color. So in some fungal diseases such as ergot of rye, the sclerotia are formed in the position of kernels, that too in the spike region or inflorescence region. So coming to the next symptom under first category, that is white blisters. They are white, shining, blister-like pustules, blister-like elevations found on the leaves of certain cruciferous plants. So this is caused by a fungi called Albigo candida, which is going to cause a disease called powdery disease. White rust disease. It is otherwise known as white rust disease. So this pustules expose the white powdery mass of spores on the parts of the plant like inflorescence, leaves, stems, etc. So coming to the second category of symptoms of plant diseases, that is anatomical, morphological and symptoms on host. So under that two subdivisions are there, necrosis and hypertrophy and hyperplasia. First let me explain the necrosis. So necrosis is a type of symptom which is mainly due to death and decay of that tissue which is invaded by the pathogen. So which is the most commonest and destructive symptom, some symptoms of fungal diseases. Under that there are many symptoms. Let me discuss one by one in detail. The first one is comes under necrosis is spots. Spots are most common symptoms produced by fungi. When host cells are killed in a limited area, it is also an example for localized infection. As a result of infection or invasion by a pathogen, the host tissue is going to kill in that particular limited area. The necrotic areas are going to be appear in the form of spots. Here we can observe black color dot-like structures on the leaf of mango plant, which are otherwise known as spots. They may be circular in shape, angular, sometimes irregular also. In advanced stages, these spots, here the dead tissue of the necrotic area is going to shrink and it separates from the healthy tissue. So example for spot disease is leaf spot disease of mango, which is caused by Pseudomonas Mangifracindicae. Pseudomonas mangifracindicae. Then coming to the second symptom under anatomical, morphological symptoms on host, that is stripes, which are otherwise known as streaks. These streaks or stripes appear in the form of elongated, narrow lesions, lines, which are observed on the surface of a host as a result of infection by a pathogen. The streaks are usually blackish and brownish in color. Example for stripe disease or streak disease is stripe disease of barley, which is caused by Puccinia striiformis. Then coming to the next disease symptom, that is canker. Canker is the dead areas present on the host surface, maybe in the stem bark or cortex of the tree, or also on the surface of a fruit, leaf, etc. These are often large and rough areas, warty in nature, with a definite margin. Here we can observe the canker surrounded by a definite yellow margin around them, which remain embedded in the tissue. The fruiting bodies of cankerous fungi come outside the host by breaking the canker surface. So the best example for canker symptom is citrus canker, which is caused by a bacteria Xanthomonas citri. Then coming to next symptom, that is blight. This symptom gives a host infected plant with a burnt appearance, which is going to develop due to sudden death of various plant parts such as leaves. This blight may be appear on the surface of a leaf, branches or flowers, and even also on the fruit or the vegetable part. So this is a tubers. We are going to observe the blight. The affected part usually turns brown or black in color, which soon disintegrates. So example for such blight disease is late blight of potato, which is caused by the fungus belongs to Mycetes, that is Phytophthora infestans. The next symptom is wilt. So wilts, here the drooping of the entire plant is observed. This drooping is mainly due to loss of turgidity in the aerial part of the plants, which is known as wilting. As a result of wilt, loss of turgidity, this is a permanent, this change is not reversible. So this permanent change and eventually leads to death of a plant. So example for wilt disease is Fusarium wilt in tomato, caused by Fusarium species. Then coming to the last symptom under second category, that is anatomical and morphological symptom on host, that is damping off. In damping off, the pathogen attacks the base of the stem, usually the seedlings, which is a common type of symptom observed in case of vegetable seedlings, where the pathogen is going to attack the base of the stem near the soil surface, where there is a contact between the stem and the soil. So example, several pathogenic fungi such as Pythium, Fusarium and Phytophthora going to cause damping of disease. Here we can observe the seedling, it is infected by the pathogen Fusarium wilt, the damping off or Pythium, it is going to cause necrosis at the point of contact with the soil. As a result of this, the whole plant is going to decay. Then coming to the second subcategory under second category, those are hypertrophy and hyperplasia. As I already told, hypertrophy and hyperplasia are abnormal growth observed on the surface of a plant, where in case of hypertrophy it is an enlargement of cell, whereas in case of hyperplasia this enlargement is mainly due to cell division, in increase in the number of cells, whereas in case of hypertrophy, increase in the size of cells. So let us study the symptoms under this category one by one. Galls. These are globose, elongated, warty structures which are irregular, and these are nothing but the malformations or outgrowths developed on the affected part of the host plant, where the small size galls are known as tubercle or wart, while the large size galls are referred as knot. Example of such symptom is wart disease of potato, which is caused by Syncytium endobiotrichum. Then move on to the second type under hypertrophy and hyperplasia, that is curl symptom. Some diseases cause hypertrophied condition in the cells of some localized areas of the leaf. As such, the leaf becomes curled in nature, curled, arched, or distorted. These symptoms are known as curl disease. The causal organism of leaf curl of tomato and leaf curl of papaya are mainly viruses. Viruses are involved in causing the curls of plants. Then move on to the next symptom, that is witch's broom. So, which is otherwise known as, commonly called as ugly broom. Witch's broom is referred as ugly in nature. As a result of infection, irregular, malformed cells are going to be formed which are ugly in nature. Some pathogens inside branching in the host as a result of their infection. This irregular branches develops only in certain limited parts, and they grow vertically instead of horizontal growth. They start growing vertically as the normal branches. These branches may become swollen in nature and bear small hypertrophic leaves also. So example of such disease is sandal spike disease caused by mycoplasmas. Then the fourth symptom under hypertrophy and hyperplasia is floral abnormalities. It is usually restricted to floral parts like inflorescence and flowers. In this symptom, floral parts of some host plants are enlarged abnormally and become fleshy in nature, leaf-like, due to the infection of certain fungi. So, which is commonly observed in white rust disease of albigo, which is caused by albigo candida. White rust disease of crucifers caused by albigo candida. Here we can observe the malformed inflorescence, floral parts, which sometimes look like a leaf-like structure. Here we can observe, see, it get modified into leaf-like structure, the inflorescence part. So it is the symptom appear when the disease is severe in nature. So here we can see the witch's broom disease caused by mycoplasmas. So with this, I am going to sum up the session with following plants, where plant pathology is a branch of botany which generally deals with study of nature, development and control of plant diseases, which is otherwise known as phytopathology, where etiology, determination and study the cause of diseases, and epidemiology is nothing but the spread, the means of spread of the disease, where different terms like disease, pathogen, host, symptom are commonly used in plant pathology, where disease is a condition where the plant is deviated from the normal healthy condition as a result of the symptom is going to be produced due to infection by a pathogen. Whereas a pathogen is an organism, either it may be abiotic or biotic, which is going to induce the disease, that is referred as a pathogen. Whereas host is the plant on which the disease is going to be established, that is referred as a host. Symptom are external signs, visible symptoms, signs appear on the surface of the host are referred as symptoms. All these terms are commonly used in plant pathology, where disease triangle is of much importance in plant pathology, which is defined as a conceptual model that shows the interaction between the three important things to be disease to be occurred, that is in favorable environment, susceptible host and a virulent pathogen. When all the three are interacting together, then only the disease is going to occur, otherwise there is no disease. The symptoms caused by pathogens are of various nature, and they broadly fall into two categories, like symptoms due to nature of pathogen, due to structure of pathogen, and appearance of visible pathogen on the surface of the host. Under this we studied certain symptoms like mildews. Out of mildews there are two types, downy mildew and powdery mildew. If the cottony mass is going to be developed on the lower surface of a plant, then they are said to be downy mildew. In case of powdery mildew, powdery mass is going to be developed on the surface of the leaf and stem. Rust, these are brown color, compact or loose mass of spores. Smuts usually infect the floral parts or ear head, while sclerotia is a vegetative propagule which is a dormant structure. So on separation from this, it acts as a carrier molecule. On return of favorable condition, it is going to germinate to infect new plant. White blisters are usually found in case of crucifer plants. In case of second category, that is anatomical and morphological symptoms on host, there are two subdivisions: necrosis, hypertrophy and hyperplasia. Under necrosis, we studied certain symptoms like spots, streaks, canker, blight, wilts and damping off. Whereas in case of hypertrophy and hyperplasia are abnormal symptoms observed on the surface of a plant as a result of infection by a pathogen. In case of hypertrophy, enlargement of a cell takes place, whereas in case of hyperplasia, this is due to number of division, the number of cells increase, cell number increases here. Under that we studied galls, skulls, witch's broom and certain other floral abnormalities, which is the common feature observed in case of white rust of crucifers. So with this I am going to conclude the session. For further details about the current topic, you can refer the following references. Thank you.